What is up, everybody? Brent Abel here, goldballhunting.com. That dude over there, the great Jeff Jacklich, in a different time zone than the last 5 months. A little artsy, very cool looking background there. Jeff, guys, thanks for hanging out with us again today. Another episode of the Gold Ball Hunting Podcast. Today we got something very cool for you about the backhand volley. So hang in there with us because we got something pretty cool to show you today.
So the big question is this: how are tennis players like us who never played on the tour, weren't incredible juniors, or maybe got a late start to the game, how do we consistently compete at our highest skill level without having to grind through endless hours of on-court practice time and still be in the hunt for the victory match after match? That is the question, and Gold Ball Hunting gives you the answers by helping you eliminate your skill level range so that you build a strong foundation of confidence. My name is Jeff Jacklich, and along with Brent Abel, my partner, welcome to Gold Ball Hunting.
All right, guys, listen, thank you again for hanging out with us today. Another episode of the Gold Ball Hunting Podcast. And that young bro over there next to me, if you're on YouTube, you can tell, has got a slightly different background than what we've seen for the last 5 months in Pontiac, Michigan. Jeffrey, you're in the Central Time Zone now. You've moved up one time zone closer to the Pacific Coast.
That's right.
Hanging out.
I'm going to do it one at a time. Do it one at a time.
Why rush this thing? You don't want the jet lag thing to. So, but you're in Fort Worth, Texas for a few days.
Yeah, cool. A few days for sure, and it's beautiful down here. Nice. I've never actually, had a. Been through the city itself and the surrounding areas. It's absolutely a beautiful town, and we did a quick run through yesterday, and we're going to go out today and do a little more exploring. It's going to be fantastic. So it's nice to be down here, and
cool. All right. Well, listen, let's get into it today. Before we get into it today, let's talk about a couple things that we've got going on right now. Number one, Jeff, you and I are offering a free private coaching call. Could be 10 minutes, could be 12, could be 15 minutes, whatever it takes. But we just ask that you bring that one thing in your game right now that you're struggling with. Not the whole laundry list, because we think that if we can help you knock down that one thing, the other little minor things might just kind of fall away. They might become irrelevant. But you got to really kind of dig deep and think about what's that one thing in your game right now that it could be stroke technique, it could be tactics or strategy. Heck, it could be physical, right? Which is kind of an important part of the game. Jeff, would you agree with that?
Totally, right? Are you being asked to do something that you can't do? And do we need to actually change the tactic?
That's right. That's right.
Right?
And then the mental part. Gosh, another area of the game that's kind of importante. So anyway, figure out which thing in your game right now that you want to get squared away. Let's get on that private free coaching call and let Jeff and I hear you out, and then we'll give you the first couple of steps to get in that path to get the ultimate end result you want, whether it's singles and or doubles. Go over to goldballhunting.com, drop it a first name and email address, and you will get access to our online calendar scheduler where you get to cherry pick a date and time that works best for you. The other thing, a shameless plug here, Jeff, for the BrentAbelWebTennis.com All Lessons Package, which is my brain, my interpretation of the great Tom Stowe, what he did for me. And in fact, today I uploaded an 18-minute video of my Tom Stowe story, which you haven't seen yet, but you've heard it.
Cool.
You've heard it lots of times. But so what I'm doing is a way of just saying thank you to all my 17,000 plus web tennis subscribers for recently, right when I was over in Croatia, for really kind of helping me. All the love, all the encouragement, all the great stuff for those 2 weeks. And then really for the last couple of decades, I mean, we're talking 20 years, all the love and support. So look, this thing is normally, my All Lessons package is 15 plus courses, some other great stuff in there. I normally charge $497 for it. But until tomorrow night, Thursday, October 3rd, 11 p.m. Pacific, you can get in there at a $200 boom discount. One-time charge is $297, the whole enchilada. So, and the link is down below, right? Depending on where you are. If you're over at YouTube, the link is down below in the description area, or if you're in the audio, iTunes or Stitcher, it's in the show notes. So, guys, with that said, let's dig in today. Jeff, next week you and I are going to do some coaching, some teaching on the backhand volley.
Yeah.
Which I know this is something that you're just itching. You're just itching. Brandy, can I teach now? Can I just start now? Please, let me at him. Whoa, big fella. Yeah, hold on just a hair now. So today what we want to do is we want to kind of, I can't stand the thing. We're going to bust a myth. But there is, a coaching thing out there that I used to be guilty of because I didn't know. This was pre Mr. Stowe. And it was kind of the thing, well, you got to punch your volley and you got to, you got to make, you got to make contact out in front.
You got to kind of lunge at it. You got to lunge at it.
You got to take it really early. And so my idea of taking it really early was, well, maybe the earlier I can take it, that might be even better. And so,
it's like to the point of almost being on the other side of the net.
Right. I mean, I had to hold back the reins on that one a little bit, but the result for me when I was way out in front, Jeff, is I just got this volley that was just literally, it had no spin, right? It was like a complete doink. And it would just go over there and had really no spin. There was no skid. It sat up. The guy went, okay, Brent, all right, man, if that's what you got, boom. And I was just going, okay, maybe I need to be further out in front. Maybe that'll be better. Yeah, well,
maybe that'll help.
It didn't. It didn't. So, look, let's chat about today with the backhand volley and kind of that term, Jeff. Well, you got to volley out in front. And I just got a little story I want to share before I got to, I've shared the pre-Stowe thing, and I will tell you what he helped me do. But what does that mean? Out in front, and where do players get screwed up, and where do coaches need a little spanking on? Stop saying that.
Yeah, I think it's not a myth. I think it's a misinterpretation and misinformation. So the players that are out there trying and struggling, it's not your fault. You're also interpreting somebody else's interpretation, and it's like a fish story, right? It started out, hey, I went fishing and I caught a fish this big, and then 12 people later, it's Moby Dick, right? Moby right?
Dick.
So. And it's not necessarily intentional. It's just my personal opinion is it's misunderstanding and misinformation of what actually is going on.
Yeah.
And I think that's where your example, your Tom Stowe story is really because I've been on that stool. I've sat on that stool, and so it is I think the best example of really understanding the internal mechanics without any words.
Yeah.
0 words. Go ahead. Tell us your story.
Well, look, so, when I first went to see Mr. Stowe, one of the first things we worked on was my volley because he wanted me to be more than just a quote-unquote all-court player. He really wanted me to finish the points up inside the service line. And it didn't necessarily mean that I was just pure serve and volley, or just, chip and charge, get in behind that second serve return every time, which is actually, I did kind of take the liberty and go, okay, well, I'm coming in every time if this is what you want. But so obviously we had to work on my volley, right? Because once I got up there, I was still in the mode of, well, let's see how far out in front I can make contact. Because that was my interpretation of what I thought I should be doing. And so he looked at my volleys a couple of times, didn't say anything. And he says, well, he actually asked me a question. He says, well, what are you thinking about? And I said, well, I should be out in front, right? And he kind of cocked his head at me and just kind of went, all right. So he went over the side and he pulled out this stool, right? Like a bar stool, right? And he brings it out and he puts it right in the tee. And he started, and the stool was, a tall stool and had the rungs around almost the bottom where he said, all right, he said, and this was in the backhand volley, he says, sit in the stool and face that net post. on the left side. For me, so I'm facing the net. He said, on the left side, that'd be my backhand volley. And I said, okay. So I'm facing over there. He says, now put your feet up on the rungs. You can't have your feet on the court. And I said, all right. So he goes over there, and he underhand feeds me a ball. And I'm so far out in front, Jeff, that I have to, I mean, the stool just shoots out from behind me, right? And I'm just stumbling, and I'm just going, oh my God, I'm about to fall flat on my face. And he kind of looked at me and just kind of, did the little head cock and go, okay, why don't you wait a little bit longer next time, all right? So I said, okay. So I gathered the stool, I put it back, did the thing, faced the net post. Here comes another underhand feed, and I'm just going, God, come on, wait, same thing. Stool shoots out from behind me because I can't wait. I'm trying to hit the ball out in front. And, and again, same thing. I mean, if I hadn't taken my feet off the rungs, I would have fallen. He said, looked at me again and just said, wait. And so third time he does it, and this time I wait, and I just sit there on the stool, and I wait, and I hit this backhand volley, and it has this feeling in my hand and all of a sudden the ball just goes over there, and it just like shoots off the court over there through the bounce, and I just go, oh my God, this is like the magic moment of my life.
It's a Christmas miracle.
And he never once said where to make contact. He never said, don't play it out in front. He just had me find my natural posture and balance.
Where is that?
And for me, I found it. It was a feeling.
Right.
For you,
then that's my point in saying that. Where is that for you?
Yeah. Well, I can show you.
Well, no. I didn't mean that. I meant that more metaphorically. He said everybody, you know what I mean. But you have to get into a position or a situation that actually promotes that possibility.
That's right.
It's a possibility.
Yeah.
Or not.
Well, it's a posturability. I mean, you're right. It's a posturability.
Oh God, listen to you.
It's posturability. Right.
Listen to you. God, write that down. Put it on a bumper sticker. That's amazing.
Posturability. Okay. God, I better write that down. You're right. Okay. So anyway,
I'm writing it down. I mean, that's gold right there.
All right. Look. So that's it for the slice backhand and this whole thing about you got to volley out in front. You don't. It just gets you messed up. It gets you out of the stroke technique and the mechanic that you want, that actually creates the end result that you want with a backhand volley. And number one, you want control, right? I mean, you want placement control. And you want to be able, if need be, you want to be able to get a little underspin on this thing. You want it to actually skid, right? Yeah. You want, if they get to it, you'd like for them to have to be down low and pop it back up to you. And the other thing about it is that where do you want to move to next on the court? And if you're too far out in front, you're stumbling, and that may mean that now all of a sudden you're so close to the net, just recovering is that, right. God, there goes a lob, So there's a lot of benefits to kind of figuring this thing out. Jeff, you and I are doing we got a webinar next week. I'm not sure if it's a live webinar or just a class, but we're doing something a week from tomorrow, which is Thursday, right? Today, the 10th. And we're working on the backhand volley. We may have to throw in the forehand volley a little bit as well there too, just to kind of sweeten the deal. So guys, be looking for some announcements from us starting next week, which will be the Monday, October 7th, about what's coming up about the backhand volley. Any parting words of wisdom before we let you go do the rest of the Fort Worth, Dallas area tour?
Well, for me in that, my era, my demographic, players that I was looking at would be John McEnroe, one of the greatest volleyers I think to ever land on a tennis court. He was so surgical. And part of that, what I noticed as I studied him, because in my lineage, my tennis history, I spent 2 years with Rich Anderson, the great Rich Anderson at Kenyatta Junior College in Woodside, Northern California. And, I would put Rich on the par with, Dick Gould, Tom Shivington, just the best in NorCal. And he really, one of his things was teaching us as players how to be a student of the game, how to watch. Are you, if that guy's winning a lot, maybe you should spend some time watching that guy and soak it in and kind of how is he doing it? Not just that he's winning, but what does he do and all that. So in that, we would watch on rainy days, we would watch film. Rich's Super 8 movies of the Aussies, Laver, Emerson, Rosewall. Rainy day outside, we're watching films like a football, in a classroom,
cool.
Watching films.
Very cool.
And watching Rod Laver create, structure points and everything. And so in that process, I started to watch McEnroe because California hardcourt raised serve and volleyer, right? And watching Mac, I think one of the best to ever do that in tennis. And watching him volley and just noticing how abbreviated everything. I mean, obviously Mac's whole game is abbreviated and the simplicity and the efficiency in it. But watching him volley, I noticed that his hands were very quiet.
Right.
Meaning there was not a lot of stabbing and this going on. He was just, and so for me watching that, like, how's he doing that? And it was really about just finding that place, as you just described. Where was that place for him? Where was that contact point for him? And so as I started to kind of watch that, I started to tinker with it on the court and really understood then where I needed that ball in relation to my own posture-driven setup.
Right.
So there was no loss of balance. And in that process, I noticed my hands got very quiet. And so there wasn't a lot of flicking and thising and thatting and all that extra stuff that Tom Stowe wanted to just cut away from you, right?
Yes,
Do we need that little flicky thing,
up on top, that little flare? And you didn't even have to say anything. You just go, no, we don't need it. No.
Sorry. So for me, in my process of learning this game and really seeing what the best guys are doing and not only how they're doing, but what the fallout. Why are they doing that? Why are they doing it that way? And then realizing the all the benefits of understanding that process. So
great. Well, no, I completely agree that Mac. Everyone says he had great hands, but to me, it's just like the way you described it. He didn't do a whole lot, which meant that there wasn't a lot that could go wrong. I mean, I think of Mac, and I think of a lot of players, and I used to be this way, serve and volley or serve and approach or whatever we want to call that first volley. But I used to try to get to it so early with my hand that I was trying to get rid of the ball. And I felt with Mac, and then I felt like when I got with Mr. Stowe, is there, no, your job is to actually absorb the ball. Because
that's a great description right there, and that setup, that framework is what allows your hands to be quiet. So when I describe McEnroe, he had very quiet hands based on his setup.
Right. That
he didn't have active hands; they were very quiet, very abbreviated. But it was the setup that created that possibility.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Well, good stuff, Jeff. All right, guys. Well, listen, a couple things before we send you off to get out there in the court today and work on whatever it is you're working on. And by the way, I was listening to a podcast yesterday. I was taking a hike up Mount Warner by myself yesterday here in Steamboat, Jeff. And one of the things I want our students, or want anyone who listens to us, I want to be able to give them our stuff in such a way that the best part of their day is when they get to go out in the tennis court, right? That it's not like, it's like, God, I can't wait to get out and play today. And I'm not saying this because I'm just saying that I want any residual that whether they learned something from us, whether it's technique, it's strategies, physical, mental.
Right.
But the overall thing is that when they're out there, it's like, God, this is the best part of my day out here, man. I just love this. So I want to help players do that. I know that you do too. So listen, maybe one of the ways we can do that is, guys, we're offering a free private coaching call telephone call, cell phone call. Just go over to goldballhunting.com. Drop in your first name and email address. Click the button. You'll get access to our online calendar scheduler where you can cherry pick a date and time that works best for you. And let's do this. Why not? I mean, it's a fun deal. And Jeff I think he's figuring, well, if my tennis thing doesn't work out, I might have a second career as a stand-up comedian, because I think part of the coaching call is, can I make this guy laugh? Yeah, I think.
Can we all just have a little bit of fun here?
That's right. That's right. And then the other reminder is, tomorrow night, 11 p.m., that's Thursday, October 3rd, is the end of this thank you offer that I'm making on the All Lessons package. Normally $497, but I'm going to do $200 off as a way to say thank you so much, everybody.
That is the deal of the century.
It's pretty sweet. So get yourself over. There is a link down below that will take you over, and you can check out everything, all the different 15-plus courses in there, and a couple other kind of cool things in there as well. So, guys, with that said, Jeff, what do we want the fine folks to do right now?
Like us,
yes.
Share us, please subscribe. Let us know what you think down below. Really, truly, we want to know. iTunes and Stitcher, rate and review. And let's see, while you're on the computer, your phone, or whatever right now, share us with a friend. Because, don't be greedy. Don't be selfish.
That's right. Don't keep all the good stuff for yourself.
Yeah.
Right. Jeff's right. Shoot him a text, maybe an email. Put in the URL goldballhunting.com and just say, you got to check these fellas out. Whatever. So,
if nothing else, they'll get a good laugh, right? They get a little chuckle.
All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us again today. Get out there today. Help someone else have a spectacular day. Jeff, let's do this again tomorrow.
Can't wait.